This morning when I went for a walk with the dogs, when I go for a walk with the dogs, I don't know, there's always some kind of rock or something sticking out of the ground, so always seems to be a lot of sort of heart shapes. So this was the first rock. And I had nothing in mind, really. So I just picked this rock up, and then I got a little further and I saw this rock lying mostly into the dirt, but the shape was there. And I really liked that one. And then I noticed that they were actually quite similar, but yet different. This has smoother edges, it's much sharper. It's cut. So after I picked those up, I thought, okay, all right. Let's just see what else kind of comes today to come back here, and that there's somebody on the other side of viewing this that I'm going to be talking to. And in a way, I'm gathering these objects for them. I don't know why I'm picking up one thing and not picking up another. So these are the first two I picked up. So somehow when I say these are the first two I picked up, there's a sense of a war within. It's as if ultimately perhaps they want the same thing. Peace. But it's about achieving it in opposite ways. This one may think that peace comes through protection, safety, attacking first before you're attacked. And this one, color of it, it's a green, wonderful green, and the softness, the flow of it. Actually, I haven't looked at it very carefully yet, but this way I can see a woman sitting, just like this. And the water. So it is almost like the color of water. So it carries that energy, the softness of water, the gentleness of water, the feminine form. And this, the sharp, edgy, fiery, almost yellowish fire. Ouch, almost cut me. It's almost the color of the Chiricahua Mountains where the Apache, Broken Arrow, I can't think what's the guy's name. But Geronimo hid out there for a while. So this is Geronimo. This is Mother Mary. Those are pretty strong opposites. But let's just say that this person that I'm talking to has these inside of them. And everything that this one does, which is soft and open and giving and generous, terrifies this one. this one can be very critical too of this one. This one can hate this one, and this one could be very critical of this one's behavior. Selfish, defensive, hard. So they're both movements in the circle. We have two members of our circle here today. How wonderful. Two members of our circle, and you're two members of the circle. But it's funny that somehow this one has more to do with the movement to the center. This one has more to do with fear. 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 So in these things that I picked up, the next thing that I picked up, it's one of the plastic things that you would, when you undo the top of a container, that it's locked, okay, and you peel the plastic away so that you can open it. So this is what keeps the lid locked in place and secure so that you know nobody's tampered with it, and you don't have to be concerned about something being inside of there that could hurt you. This would be something very effective and useful for this one. In fact, we could even wrap him up in it. Oh, it's a him. Okay, and it's true. Masculine and feminine. Yin and yang. They're both necessary. They both create the movement that allows a centering. But this one is based and functions mostly when it's unbalanced by the other. Fear. So it needs that protection. It locks things out. So it's a tightness. It's a locking out. This tightness in your body. This hardness that won't let people in. That you won't share yourself with. What are you afraid of when you share yourself? Why don't people want to share their journey? Why don't they want to expose themselves? This is a piece of paper material that probably wrapped something up, and it's about as close as you could get to a useless piece of garbage. Useless. Useless. The feeling of uselessness. Perhaps nothing I do in the world, it doesn't matter. My existence, it doesn't matter. It's no different than this piece of paper. Maybe that person feels like that. So maybe when you gather and you pick this piece up, maybe within this somehow are, well, there's two different colors here, so maybe one of them's your mother and one's your father. Maybe your mother had so much pain herself, so much feeling of uselessness herself, that she needed you to give her worth. So she attached herself to you as a child to give her worth. Meanwhile, she's supposed to be your mother. She's supposed to be the circle to you that cultivates your feeling of value and worth in the world, just in who you are. But she's so busy needing you to see her, to take care of her, even unconsciously. She could be reactive, perhaps, to things that you do, and that, like, why are you doing this to me? And you're not doing anything, you're just being a child. And then perhaps the father, totally disconnected, treats her awful, abusively, mean, so makes her feel even more useless. And even you, perhaps, physically abusive with. You might be afraid of him. There's a dark energy in it. So your mother needs you because her husband gives her nothing. And then your father actually is jealous of the relationship that you have with your mother. That you're actually closer to her than he is. Meanwhile, he is abusive to everyone because he hates himself. The male and the female. He hates himself. Maybe he drinks. Doesn't like his work. So again, he doesn't feel value either. And so he takes out his no value on everybody else and makes them feel no value. So he actually makes that little child feel like a piece of garbage that's just tossed aside and worthless. So when you pick this up, you're picking up all of your feelings in relationship to that mother, that father, and it's you. It's your wanting them just to see you, feel you, know you, love you. And you feel the opposite. You get the opposite. You're trying to survive. You're just this soft, little, delicate, wonderful rock, just trying to survive. Innocent at the time. But then maybe you grow up into this. Cigarettes. The pain, perhaps, as you grow up is so much. The pain of no value, no worth, no matter what you do. That maybe, least of all things, might you smoke, you drink, you cut, you do drugs, you try to earn your value, and yet it's so painful. It seems like all these things have created just a self-destructiveness in your life, and it's only getting worse. And you have rejected all your feelings around this because you're trying to survive when you're this little person. This is inside of you now. That father that beats up on you in your own mind, that cuts you with your uselessness, and an out of balance mother who's the victim inside, who feels helpless in the world. So you have both the victim and the warrior, both equally strong, tearing you apart. And you believe this one, then you believe that one. You believe this one, then you believe that one. And there's no sense of your own truth. knowing you flip between these two so strongly that you've lost the truth of who you are as what they move in, and that what makes them move is their old pain, and what keeps it there is what they believe. So you, as that child with that mother and that father, it's true, you were victimized. It's true. Now, as if you must journey back, only you now. And this is like a ghost too. It's like the hungry ghost. And in that hungry ghost, it is the hunger for love. So now you must be the mother of the earth to this which you abandoned, and take within yourself its tears, its yearning, its rage that would hurt itself, but you're the aware love that it's moving in, and you don't believe it. You don't believe that story anymore. This is a story written on this piece of paper. Are you going to carry it around the rest of your life and show it to people? This is why I am what I am. This is it. Or are you going to give it to the water and let the ink of that story wash away? And that water is your tears, both of anger and rage, that softens. And when it dries, it becomes a new form. A new form. And the story's gone. Through this honoring of yourself. And these two forces that seemed at odds, now they balance and they come together. And the one who was addicted, he just wanted peace too. They all want peace. Every one of them want peace. How can you hate something in yourself that just wants peace? So all of them, all of them, all of them, all of these, and this in the center, all of them, loved. And you are what flows. And in that flow, you get to be happy too. You get to have happiness too. But that happiness flows out of the peace. It's not evanescent. It's not dependent on what's happening in the world. It's a happiness with you as who you are. And the war has ended. The war has ended. In fact, that's why these fit together so well. And this one becomes part of it. And this is as if your coat of arms with the circle. And it is through whatever means that you gather, what in your need to survive and get through life, because nobody was helping you then. But it's as if in your whole history, your soul's history, you had to do whatever you had to do to survive. And you got stuck in the groove in the record. Keep skipping. And the war goes on. Now, leap out of this groove. Leap. Give up believing in your story. Give up disbelieving in your worth. And just be.